iHeart, get ready. Fantasy football is here. Welcome to the Scout Fantasy Show. ScoutFantasy.com is home to the Fantasy Football World Championships and the best players in the world. Real money winners giving their secrets to help you win. Now exclusively on iHeart. This is the Scout Fantasy Show with your host, the one, the only, Dr. Roto.
Hey there, everybody, it's Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards, get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. All right, Thanksgiving Day is upon us, and I wish you and yours a very happy Thanksgiving. I hope it's a wonderful time with family and friends, and of course, football. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to break down the games on Thanksgiving, the 3 games. And then as I told you, I won't be around for a couple of days, but I'll be back on Saturday doing a video with the DFS picks for you guys. So we don't want to leave you without the DFS picks for sure. And of course, you can check out the premium message board forums on scoutfantasysports.com. There's a new promo code, BLACK5, probably for Black Friday, and 5 meaning $5. It's going to cost you $5 basically till the end of the season. I mean, what more could you ask for? $5 to take you to a fantasy football championship. So come join us at scoutfantasysports.com. Promo code BLACK5, $5 gets you till the end of the season. Okay, 3 games on tap for you. And the first one is always the Detroit Lions. And this year they get the Chicago Bears. And normally you'd be you wouldn't be that excited normally for the Bears-Lions. But this year I think you would, because their Bears are a good young team. The problem is that Mitchell Trubisky is very questionable about whether or not he plays. Very questionable. So right now, we don't have much word except that we know that Mitch Trubisky has an injured shoulder, which happened in the game against Minnesota. And it's a very short week, as you know. And I think the Bears think they can win this game without Mitch Trubisky. I don't think they want to endanger him, and they can give him a nice, big, long break before their next game. So I think there's a very reasonable chance that Chase Daniel is playing. Now, when a backup quarterback like Chase Daniel plays, you've got to devalue your Allen Robinsons and your Anthony Millers because they're going to run the football. Now, the good news here is that the Lions are terrible against the run. So this is going to be a Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen love fest. There might be some quick patterns to Trey Burton, maybe a rollout here, maybe some passes to Taylor Gabriel. But do you really see Chase Daniel throwing for 30 times? I don't see it. I think Chase Daniel throws about 22 times in this game. Goes like 14 for 22 for $140 and a touchdown. And they get the win because they have a good defense and a good running game, and they get out of Detroit as quickly as humanly possible. For Detroit, Detroit has their own issues. Matthew Stafford is having a good year, not a great year statistically. Kerryon Johnson, their best running back, is out. So now what are we looking at? LeGarrette Blount, Zach Zenner. I do like Theo Riddick. He's probably the best fantasy play of the bunch. I mean, Blount will get the goal line carries, but do you really trust Blount to do that much? I don't. And then at receiver, you're looking at a major problem here because I don't think Marvin Jones is going to play. He's still very questionable. So you're looking at a Kenny Golladay love fest. Bruce Ellington is questionable. So here we are in our Thursday game, and a lot of good players are not going to play. So Trubisky could be out. Marvin Jones is out. Kerryon Johnson could be out. I mean, these 3 guys could be out. So all of a sudden, you're like choking up your Thanksgiving turkey watching this crappy football. I mean, that's what you're looking at here. So I would say if I own Riddick, if I own Howard, if I own Cohen, and if I own Golladay, I'll go in on those 4. Outside of those 4, I don't think I'm really interested in playing anybody unless I absolutely have to. I really am not loving these matchups here. Okay, game number 2. Game number 2 is Washington against Dallas. And, I'm trying to find a pathway for a Redskin victory here, and I just don't see it. Alex Smith is gone. Colt McCoy is the new quarterback. Colt McCoy is, he's a career backup. He was a really good quarterback back at the University of Texas, but what does that do him now? The line is in shambles. So, I mean, is there a pathway for a 300-yard game? I don't know, man. This is a very conservative offense. This offense wants to run the football. If they're ahead, they will grind this sucker out with Capri Bibbs and Adrian Peterson all game long. If they go down, which I expect, then it's going to be virtually impossible for them to catch up. I just don't think they have the horses. Josh Doctson, Maurice Harris, Jordan Reed, and Dallas' defense is playing at a really high level. I mean, a really high level. So I just don't see this as a good spot for the Redskins. For the Cowboys, I love Ezekiel Elliott. This guy should have a game. I mean, it easily goes over 100 total yards from scrimmage. I don't love Amari Cooper. I don't. I think he's in a bad spot with Josh Norman. But I really like Cole Beasley. I really like Cole Beasley. And I think he's probably one of my favorite plays of the slate. If you saw what Kiki Kuti did last week, it was 5 for 77. I think that the Redskins are susceptible to that slot receiver, and I think this is a Cole Beasley week. Michael Gallup, a very sad story about his brother. We know that, so I wouldn't be playing him. Dak Prescott, I don't know. Maybe he runs a touchdown in. It's possible. I could see that. But I'm starting Zeke for sure. I will start Cooper begrudgingly. I absolutely will start Cole Beasley. I think he's very sneaky. For the Redskins, like I said to you, I'll start Adrian Peterson. I'll probably will start Kapri Bibbs because if my thinking is correct that the Redskins are down, I think they're going to have to go to Bibbs, and I think Colt McCoy is not going to be looking downfield too often. He's going to be doing a lot of outlet passes to him. And I mean, maybe Chris Thompson. I mean, do we know if he's even playing? So Chris Thompson obviously is the better play than Kapri Bibbs if Chris Thompson's playing. If Chris Thompson's playing, he's actually a really good fantasy start because I think that Colt McCoy will have to use him all over the field. All right, and then the final game of the day, the best one of the day, Atlanta goes to New Orleans, and this should just be a terrific matchup. So this is one where you had a great Thanksgiving, you were with family, maybe you had a good time with them, maybe you didn't, now you're home, you watch the game, and this is going to be a good one. Now, is it going to be the Chiefs-Rams? I don't think anything's going to be the Chiefs-Rams, but this is going to be a good one. So Matt Ryan is in a really good spot, okay? New Orleans, not a great pass defense, very good run defense. So I'm going to temper my expectations about Tevin Coleman. I'm not going to start Ito Smith. I will start Tevin Coleman because he can run and he can catch and he can block, and I think he'll just be out there for a lot of touches. I don't love him with huge upside, but I think you're looking at 13, 14 points. Nothing wrong with that. I don't love Julio Jones this week. I like Julio, but I think he's going to see a lot of Marshawn Lattimore. I really like Calvin Ridley, and I really like Mohamed Sanu. I think they are in really good spots. So they're two guys that I think that are in a great spot. And I think Austin Hooper, not in a great spot because the Saints are good against the tight end. But, hey, look, he's been a pretty solid player this whole year. I'm not going to lose faith in him right now. But I definitely like Sanu, and I really like Ridley. I think Ridley's a game changer in this one. And the slot, I think he's in a good spot there to succeed. For the Saints, okay, Drew Brees at home, you play him. You play Drew Brees at home. My favorite play of the whole slate is Alvin Kamara. The Falcons are terrible with running backs out of the backfield catching the football. What does Alvin Kamara do? That's what he does. I like me Mark Ingram. I think Mark Ingram's in a good spot. I love Michael Thomas because Michael Thomas is always in a good spot. But I don't really like Traquan Smith this week. Traquan Smith had an amazing week last week. Very seldomly do I see that guys go back-to-back, especially young players like that. So it wouldn't shock me to see Keith Kirkwood or Austin Carr or somebody else make a play. Maybe it's even, Ben Watson or Josh Hill. I just think it's Thomas and somebody other than Traquan Smith, okay? But I definitely love Kamara, and I definitely love Mark Ingram, and I definitely love Drew Brees, and I definitely love Michael Thomas. And you're going to start Ridley and Sanu and Ryan. And if you're playing in a DFS slate, this is the game you want to hone in on. This is where your points are going to be scored. Okay? So that's what we're going to do on Thanksgiving. And now I just want to cover something else. Remember, it's waiver wires. Again, in the high-stakes leagues, be very careful tonight. Make your bids on Gus Edwards. You know that he's going to be a big play. Make sure you start to solidify your team. So ask yourself this question, okay? Assuming I own David Johnson, okay? Do I want Doug Martin or do I want Chase Edmonds? I absolutely want Chase Edmonds moving forward. Because if David Johnson should get hurt, I want Chase Edmonds. I am never playing Doug Martin. I am never playing Doug Martin. But if David Johnson were to get injured, I'd want to play Chase Edmonds. So I think right now is the time you start handcuffing your players. Now, if the backup to the player sucks, that's something different. But Malcolm Brown doesn't suck. Chase Edmonds doesn't suck. Wayne Gallman doesn't suck. You've got to back up your guys. And I'll tell you this from experience, I didn't do this last year. I had Carson Wentz, thought I was the second overall in the online championship, and I lost because my quarterback was Deshaun Kaiser, and if I remember correctly, the last week of the year, I didn't even have a quarterback. If I had just had Nick Foles to cover myself, I would have been a whole lot better off. Now, did I know Carson Wentz was going to get hurt? Absolutely not. But if I own Mitch Trubisky, I better make sure I have Chase Daniel, or I better make sure I've got two real quarterbacks who play. Because at the end of the year, strange things happen. The best fantasy team does not always win a fantasy football championship. You know I've mentioned that numerous times, and I say that again today. Be careful. Make sure you cover yourself because you won't be able to do it during the playoffs. Your teams will be locked, and you can't make the moves that you need. Okay? It's as simple as that. But you know what else is simple? It's time now to put away the insurance cards, put away the copay. The office is closed, my friends. Once again, a very happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. And don't forget to check out scoutfantasysports.com, promo code BLACK5 for $5 for the rest of the season. And of course, our men at vegaswhispers.com, hot 50, only $50 for your first month, and you might be my rich friend. All right, this is Dr. Roto saying be well and take care.
Thanks for listening to the Scout Fantasy Show. There's never been a better time to join the Scout Army. Visit scoutfantasy.com. Use the promo ROTO for 2 months free. And don't forget, fantasy players, please thumbs up the podcast on the iHeart app. See you next time. Go Scouts!